While I'm waiting for check-in time, I quick want to share how to travel with just one bag. It allows you to never pay check bag fees. Packing is super fast and you just feel nimble and free. The problem is actually putting all this into practice is easier said than done. It's taken me years of trial and error to nail down a system that works. And believe me, this stuff is best figured out before you hit the road. Because once you start traveling, it's much harder to make adjustments and find the right gear. So stick to the end to learn from all my mistakes and even discover why one bag travel could be a horrible idea depending on your trip. So usually this means you'll be traveling with a carry-on size backpack or suitcase. And rule number 1 of one bag travel is to always pack a packable day pack inside of it. That way when you arrive, you have a small backpack that you can take out with you exploring and you don't have to lug around everything with you in your one big bag. This can be as simple as one of those flimsy drawstring bags, but I prefer one with slightly more structure that packs down flat. This allows me to use that bag to safely carry my laptop to cafes and co-working spaces. Speaking of working on the road, one bag travel gets even trickier if you plan to carry camera gear or work remotely as a digital nomad. If weight and size are your only concern, then going full on minimalist and just taking a small laptop is the obvious choice. But after trying out the minimalist approach, I realized that my health and my body are more important than shaving off every single ounce possible. If you're spending several hours slouched over your laptop every day, your body will hate you for it. I promise. And traveling the world is a lot less fun when your body constantly hurts. That's why I now allow a bit of extra space and weight for my work setup. I use this cheap knockoff Roost stand, a Bluetooth keyboard and trackpad, and my latest addition, this JSOX FlipGo double stack foldable monitor. This double screen is a brand new design that just launched, and JSOX, the sponsor of this video, sent me one to test it out before it goes live. Working on a 13-inch laptop is not very comfortable or productive, especially if you need to see more than one window at a time. And after struggling to work like this for the past year on the road, having the FlipGo double screen has been a complete game changer. Naturally, 2 screens weigh more than one, but it folds down nicely to the size of my MacBook and both fit nicely into my laptop case. It comes with various mounting options, but for traveling, I use the Flexfolio stand, which is lightweight, sturdy, and easy to set up. The other mounts would be useful for a home office setup, so you can continue using the FlipGo even between trips. There's also a bunch of different screen configurations that you can choose from, including portrait and landscape ultra view mode, which is just basically one giant screen. This is handy if you have a lot of info that you want to show all on one screen so you don't have to scroll all the time, like a spreadsheet or something. You can also use portrait or landscape dual views mode, which is what I use the most. This is basically like having 2 separate extra screens. So I can have my research open on my laptop screen, my notes and documents on one FlipGo screen, and my email, messages, and music open on the other screen. Lastly, this thing just looks cool. Next, the biggest key to traveling with just one bag is knowing what to pack. I have several carry-on packing videos that show exactly what to pack. So here I want to cover how to think about packing. In 99% of cases, you should not pack what-if items. For example, here are some packing mistakes that I have personally made and regretted. What if I go to the beach and need snorkel gear? What if I want to go on a hike and need hiking boots? What if I meet new friends and need a Bluetooth speaker to set the vibe? Unless you're 100% sure you'll be doing something and doing that thing often, it's best just not to pack that thing. If the stars align and you end up needing it, you can always just buy or rent or borrow it wherever you are. Trust me, it's pretty annoying having to puzzle piece a snorkel and mask into your tight-fitting bag every time you change locations, especially when you only used it for 15 minutes over the past 6 months. Equally important to what you pack is the bag that you choose to pack it in. The first consideration is to roll or to carry. Rolling is more comfortable for certain types of trips, but can be a pain for cobblestone streets, beach accommodations, or any developing destination where flat sidewalks are not a thing. I personally like backpacks because they're more versatile and they force me to burn off calories from the disturbing amounts of coconut ice cream that I eat. But I totally get that backpacks aren't for everyone. Whichever type of bag you choose, there's some things you want to keep in mind. First, carry-on dimensions and weight limits can vary by airline, so do some research on the airlines that you're most likely to fly. If you want to be super safe, you can just choose the smallest limits, which are usually budget airlines. But unless you plan to frequently fly on these airlines, restricting yourself to the smallest carry-on limits means sacrificing precious space. That's another advantage that backpacks have over suitcases, especially hard shell suitcases. Backpacks are usually a little bit more flexible to shimmy into those sizing bins. Rolling luggage also weighs more because of the wheels and handles, which means less weight allowance for your actual stuff. That said, don't stress too much over the weight of your empty bag because there are plenty of other tricks to stay below the weight limit that I share in this video. If you go too lightweight, you'll start to sacrifice overall comfort and durability, which in my opinion are more important than weight. For example, Tortuga sent me some bags to test and I decided to make their 40-liter travel backpack my new go-to carry-on. It's slightly heavier than my previous carry-on bag, but as you'll see, there's way more padding so it doesn't dig into my shoulders as much. The material also feels stronger, whereas my old carry-on was starting to rip a little bit. Speaking of which, if you're traveling long-term, this one bag is essentially like your house. You don't want it falling apart when you're out in the middle of nowhere. So while I'm usually all about saving money, your bag is one of those things you really don't want to cheap out on. Okay, now I'm going to tell you why I think one bag travel is a horrible idea in most cases. Please comment below to let me know what you think. Imagine traveling with an expensive laptop or camera and having only one bag. What do you do when you need to get on a bus where carry-on size bags go underneath or up on the roof? You either risk your valuables getting damaged or stolen, or you suffer hours of a bus ride with a heavy backpack on your knees. Yes, you could pull out your packable day pack, but then you're not really one bagging, are you? You're two bagging. With one bag travel, you're also wasting valuable space by not taking advantage of a personal item, which is normally included free in your flight tickets. Traveling carry-on only is hard enough as it is, especially if you're a long-term traveler. By traveling one bag only with no personal item, you're giving up like 20 to 30 liters of space. True, one bag travel really only makes sense to me in two situations, but let me know if I'm missing something. The first is if you're not carrying any valuables and you don't care if you get separated from your bag during travel. If you don't need a laptop and your valuables are small, you might be able to get away with just using an extra fanny pack or sling pack. For example, this sling bag fits smaller valuables like a compact camera, GoPro, jewelry, or passports. The second situation is if you're on a shorter trip, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks max, and you're traveling personal item only. In this case, your backpack is small enough to comfortably stay with you anywhere you go, so you can keep your valuables with you at all times. This is a whole nother level of minimalist travel though. And if you want to learn my secrets to traveling up to 2 weeks in just a personal item size bag, which can save you big bucks when flying budget airlines, watch this video next. Let me know what you think about one bag travel in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.